Hello, this is Brian Cox, and I'll be doing a brief summary of the ThinkorSwim January 2014 updates. ThinkorSwim is a very powerful platform, and they're constantly updating it and adding new enhancements to it. And so it's important to read the release notes when they come in via email and understand what they're doing. And so what I'll show you is how to actually access it from the ThinkorSwim platform. So this is the ThinkorSwim platform. In this case, we're going over to the Help tab. Then we'll go down to the Release Notes. And this is a copy of what you receive on the email. And you can see that for the January updates, they had several things that they had added. I'm going to be going over the ThinkorSwim sharing, a little bit about the fundamental data research. The sharing is a really neat capability because in the past, if you had a chart and you liked it and you wanted to ship it off to someone else, you would actually take a picture of it, or you would copy it somehow, paste it into an email. And now what you can do is you can actually click on share, and up here will come a link for sharing. And what you're going to be sharing is actually an interactive version of this chart. So I'm going to copy this, and so what I would normally do is copy it and paste it into an email. But in this case, I'm just going to be opening up a web page, paste it in so you can see what the other people would see when they receive it. You click on View in ThinkorSwim, and there you come up with the chart. And so all the studies that you had on it, all the interactive things, you can take it, you can drag it, you can zoom it in. You can do all the normal things that you would do with a chart. But it's not a static image like it was before. As a matter of fact, if people sort of like your settings and stuff, they can even just, change it to some other kind of stock or something like that. So it's a really nice feature, and sharing extends to other areas as well. One of the other areas that sharing extends to are things like alerts, and I love to use these toss charts in order to set up alerts. So for instance, if you want an alert for when it breaks this, it looks like a resistance line up here, you can now set up alert and mark, and you can set up this alert for when something breaks above or below, in this case above. And then before you create it, you could also share this using the same share button and send that off to someone else. So I haven't found all the areas that you can share on this site. I haven't looked that closely, but I'm sure that they've tucked away that little share feature in lots of different places. Another feature that they've added and enhanced is fundamental research. ThinkorSwim has mainly been a platform for doing options, and it really hasn't focused that much on fundamental research that you would do if you were buying or selling stock. But what's really nice now is if you go over to Analyze, and this is where normally they've had the probability analysis and those kind of ways of analyzing, they now have fundamental research, these ABC blocks. And take a look, it really breaks down any one company that you're interested in, providing it's large enough for them to include the data here, but it gives you the kind of information that you need for fundamental research. Of course, you can see how the stock has been trending, the bid and ask, and that kind of stuff. But it gives a corporate overview, gives you numbers for the last 5 years, so you can quickly see whether or not it's growing or whether or not it's a stagnant company. It goes through and it talks about highlights of the company, potential upsides and downsides of the company, business summaries, key trends, those kind of things. Very nice things that you want. But the part I really like is down here toward the bottom, and this is I believe a graphical representation of all the nice words they say up here. 45% of the price is driven by iPhones, Macintosh, and those are nice words. But you go down here and you can actually see those in action. So you can see that of Apple, 45% comes from the iPhone, 12% comes from Macintosh, iPad, and stuff like this. So you can very quickly just see what's the drivers of the company. And you break on this, and it even further breaks it down even more and more. And so this is a very, very neat way of taking a look at the fundamentals of a company. And if you want to compare it to another company, let's just go Google. Again, it has the same kind of information. You can see how it's been growing. Their numbers for the last 5 years. Information about their valuation, potential upsides and downsides. Some words about their business. But then you get down here, and then you can again see this thing is broken up to, there's the PC search ads, there's the Google Mobile, there's YouTube, there's Google Phone, and so you can sort of start seeing these. And so I start putting in one of the companies I follow, and you think of Disney. I'm going to put in the symbol for Disney, and when you think of that, you think of it as a big movie company. But what's amazing, you put this in, what you don't realize is that they've grown a lot through acquisitions. And again, you look at the different numbers, you can read the different words, but you come right down to the bottom here, and look at that. 33% of Disney is driven by ESPN, 23% by the parks, and you have consumer products, the Disney Channel. And so the Disney studio, which it's mostly known for, is only 90% or 9% of the company. Plus you can see debt here. So it's a real neat way of very quickly looking at the fundamentals of a company, especially important if you're thinking of buying stock in it. The new update has done some nice things with visualization as well. And in one of the things they show, you can now click on calendar, and in this case you can click through the different weeks, and you can sort of pick and choose what you want to show. In this case, let's hide everything. In fact, let's go out to the 23rd and then if you want, you could say, I'd like to see the dividends being reported, conference calls, splits, events, that kind of stuff. And so you can sort of see what the upcoming events are that may or may not be driving the companies or the economy. Also in the past, they've had this visualization for the heat map, but now that we also have a visualization for the different parts of the components of the market. In this case, we put the S&P 500, or we could put in almost any other kind of thing we want to do. But let's leave the S&P 500, and you can see that for the last trading day, what's the big drivers of the market, what's the ones that are going up, the ones that are going down. So you can take a look at these as well. And of course, this being tossed, that means everything is clickable. So I'm just going to do a right click, and then you can say toss charts, and up will pop a toss chart. You can see, boy, that did do quite a nice jump that day. So again, they've done quite a bit of work here to make the market easier to visualize and see what's happening. And so we've only covered a small part of the release notes of January 2014. So I encourage you to come over here and find things that might be more of interest to you, and do a little bit more research on this powerful tool that you get provided for this platform. So I hope that you find this video interesting. And again, this is Brian Cox, February 2014.